Welcome, everybody. This is the Predictive Playbook. This is Manny's Irish Pub Sports Betting Show. And I think my headset is working here. Yeah, I think you guys can hear me. Let me know in the chat. I'm going to be joined shortly by several of the guys. Yeah, it should be working. I believe Tony Mejia, Mr. Finn, possibly Rob Vino, possibly making his premiere if it works out, Rocky Atkinson of sportsmemo.com, and also runs the Winning Cappers site and affiliates, which I'm part of that. And I really do wish that this I could verify that this is actually working. I guess we'll find out. Let's see. Yeah, it's gotta be working. All right, so we will leave it at that for now. I'm gonna get kind of right into it here. We have baseball tonight, obviously Game 5 in a series that seemed to be inevitably heading towards Game 5 with the Dodgers and the Giants. A pretty really good matchup. I do not have a play on it. But I definitely will be watching, and I will be watching in-game. And here's a betting tip right now. I definitely lean heavily towards the Dodgers. So if I get in a situation during the game where I see San Francisco take a bit of a lead, say 2-0 during the first 3 innings, I'll be tweeting that I'm betting the Dodgers in-game. I don't think scoring first is any correlation to winning a Game 5 or a Game 7. And I think you'll get tremendous value if there is a 2-run or more lead going into the, say, the 4th inning. And I might pull the trigger sooner. It all depends on how San Francisco comes out of the gates and if they're able to get some runs on the board early. Another betting strategy for this game tonight is there's a tendency to bet the under because it is a Game 5. It's kind of I wouldn't say folklore, but it's not necessarily true either. It always comes down, the reference to defense wins championships, so that's low scoring, but that's not necessarily the case. Here again, after the first 5, if there's 3 runs or less scored, you probably will see me go on the over in that game. So again, you're letting the volatility of scoring work in your favor. The bullpens are vulnerable. I don't see either starter pitching a complete game. So taking the over after 5, if there's 3 or runs scored in total, it makes a lot of sense to me. And this is part of what I've been trying to teach, is that you have to have a plan going in to a game. You can't, and I highly recommend, the worst thing you can do is, for example, you could, in the football game tonight, you could bet the Eagles, right? Well, let's say hypothetically, all of a sudden, Tom Brady gets out to a 13-0 lead, and you think, okay, I definitely made a poor bet here, so I'm going to bet the Bucs now as to make it back. Well, that's a way to lose both sides. I would say that if you're not real confident tonight's game, that you would do 50% pre-flop, in other words, before the game starts, and then use the volatility to fill in. And if it doesn't work in your favor, then you don't do it. But an example would be, the line is basically, I guess 6.5, and I can double check that because I haven't looked at it in several hours. Let me just pull that up real quick here. And I'm going to the wagertalk.com/odds page, which has Penny and Heritage, which we all like quite a bit. And we see in football tonight, we're 6.5, 7. So I had heard it went to 6 at somewhere, but maybe that wasn't necessarily true this afternoon. But here's an example. So let's say you have Philadelphia and you bet 50% of your normal bet. For me, a normal bet would be a 4%er. So let's say that's $100. You would put $50 now at plus 6.5 or plus 7 if you get it, and then use $25 in game, getting the Eagles at something even more. So plus 9.5 and plus 11.5. So $25 each in game plus 9.5 plus 11.5. I think is a pretty good strategy if you like Philadelphia. If you like Tampa Bay, it would be minus 6.5, minus 3.5, and pick them. And that's your plan. It'd be $50 now, and then minus 3.5 in game, pick them in game for the other two $25 bets, and that's it. I'm hoping these guys are going to be joining me here pretty soon. Barry O'Brien, welcome. I believe this guy has been watching for a while, but now we're getting some questions, which is good. Do books, when setting live lines, use a computer with algorithms, or are people setting the lines? That's a great question. And I wish Las Vegas Chris was able to come on for this question. We can definitely see if we can get him on tomorrow, because he and I could probably talk about this for literally hours and hours, but we promise not to. But what I found is that you'll see that minus 120 VIG many times when you want to pull the trigger, and it is I believe it's algorithms that are anticipating what our human behavior is going to be. So it's betting behavior. It's not necessarily what Vegas is thinking. So tonight you could easily see, at minus 3.5, you could see minus 120 VIG on Tampa Bay. At plus 9.5, you could easily see minus 120, especially if it's the Eagles are driving after getting down 10-0, for example. But I've also found that when you really want to pull the trigger, there's several examples here that I've done with baseball, and you might see it tonight. And keep it in mind when I send out the tweet, because what I'm saying is very specific. That if you have, let's say the Giants are, let's say you like the Giants tonight, and they're up 2-0 over the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have runners on first and third with one out. You're going to get one hell of a good line adding to your Giants bet. And you can roll, you're betting on a double play or them only scoring one run. And that's a key moment in a baseball game. So if you wanted to really get a juicy line in your favor, that's one scenario where there's one out and there's at least a runner on first base to get the double play. You'll get an exceptional value doing that. The same thing in football. Let's say the scenario is let's say the scenario is 10-0 Tampa Bay. Eagles are at the Tampa Bay 43, and I'm just making these numbers up, the situation. But it's third down, and let's say it's third down and 8 or more. That would be the time, if you like Philadelphia, to do the in-game, because you won't be getting that minus 120. Sometimes you will, but I would say 80% of the time you want to avoid the minus 120, and 80% of the time, those two situations I mentioned for baseball and football, you will have the opportunity to maybe even get plus 100, minus 105 in that area. So you're really betting on your teams when it looks almost the worst, like third down and 8, you're losing 10-0. You're up 2-0, and runners on first and third by the opponent with one out. Those are the situations that I guess what I'm trying to say is if the situation is working against the team you bet on pre-flop or the team that you like in game, then that is the contrarian style that I like. And if you've never done it before, sometimes it's going to be difficult to pull the trigger. And I realized that I was a Wall Street institutional trader and chief currency strategist a long time ago. So that's where I really learned and perfected these buy into strength. Buy into weakness, sell into strength techniques that I now apply in game. NBA, I simply can't wait for that season to start because more and more there's going to be games where my premium clients will see it. They'll get a 4 or 5%er on a team with the option of not betting it at all pre-flop and then having a predetermined plan in place to put in the legs of your bet, whatever that amount is. So again, it would be 50% at one level, 25% at another, 25% at another. If it's all in-game, it could be 25-25, and as many as 5-10% legs to get up to the 100. One thing I will mention to you, if you let's say that the game is Brooklyn against the Lakers. I know that matchup doesn't exist right now, but let's say it is, and you like Brooklyn a lot, or I give out Brooklyn as a pretty big play, and all of a sudden the Lakers rip off 10 unanswered points in the first half. Anytime during the first half, that's the perfect time to get on the team that you like, Brooklyn, because you're going to get that wave where those 10 unanswered points or more. Looks like that particular team is either closing a gap and making it a contest, or they're taking a commanding lead, and usually it leads to a timeout by the head coach, and which gives you plenty of time to execute the in-game. That brings up another point. In-game, a lot of times I'm sure you guys have had the frustration of trying to get the bet in. You hit submit, and all of a sudden it comes back at you saying, oh, the line's changed. Do you accept the changes? And sometimes it is kind of weird because it goes from, say, minus 115 to minus 120. Or they tack on another half point that is not in your favor. And it's hard to do, but I recommend that when that happens, you just wait. Just wait. Especially in the NBA. There's no other sport that has scoring volatility like that sport does. College basketball, obviously second, but they don't play as many minutes. They don't score as many points, but it still gives you tremendous opportunities to play both like the over and the under, like I did with Rob Vito on a live show during March Madness, which was just incredible fun. And, it's definitely, an opportunity to bet, because if you think about it, when we bet pre-flop, we don't really have a clue how the flow of the game's going to go. We have a real good understanding of it, that it could be fast-paced or slow-paced. A lot of running plays versus hardly any running plays, and we do have that knowledge before we go in. But then once you see the game start, you can see what's going on, what the strategies are by the defensive coordinator versus the offensive coordinator. The games within the game, so to speak. So I like, obviously I like doing the in-game quite a bit. It's hard to do, to communicate, even with emails to my premium private client lists, because that's seconds right there too. I have to, type it out. I have to tweet it out, and that takes time too. But I think, on Twitter, if you're looking for it, you'll see it. So I'm hoping that those ideas that I put forth, that I will be betting myself, work for you guys and gals as well. So I'm trying to figure out where this gang of guys is. They said they would be here at 4. Let's see. Oh. I thought okay, here we go. Here we go. Sorry about this, guys. Now I think we might have some of these guys come in, I hope. All right. Well, we'll just steadily go through here and wait. But if you are not familiar with the Sports Memo TV channel that I produce a lot of videos for, make sure you get over there and listen to those. They're free picks. Our shows are 23-5 against the spread, which is actually better than the record I now have at sportsmemo.com, which ranks one across the board in all sports, NFL and college football. And we're going to welcome Rocky Atkinson to the show. What's going on, Rocky?
Hey, not much, John. I was waiting on that link for you to see, and I almost said something in the chat there.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I sent you the Twitter link by accident instead of the actual link for the show. So I'm glad I saw that. Because sometimes there's, the monologue that I do until the other guys show up gets tiring. I'm always watching the number of viewers to make sure that it's stable and not going down.
Yeah.
But we have a hell of a weekend coming up, starting tonight with the Eagles hosting the Tampa Bay Bucs, and I do have a play on that game. So I'm not going to talk about it much. I actually talked about strategies for in-game betting that you might have heard while you're waiting to come on. Yeah. So I'm sure I'll have something being tweeted out for that tonight. But I know you were interested in the NFL game too that you wanted to bring on the show here. So I'll turn the mic over to you, and you can tell us all who the best bet is for the NFL Weekend 6 card.
All right, sounds good. The game I'm looking at is the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. Kickoffs around 1 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. Last line I seen was Green Bay -4.5 here. Green Bay comes in with a 4-1 record on the season. Chicago's 3-2. I think Chicago's overperformed so far. Green Bay's averaging 247 yards per game passing, 347.6 total yards per game this year. Chicago's averaging only 113.2 passing yards per game, 240 total yards per game this season. So their offense has been terrible so far, although they have a winning record though. But after season opening embarrassing loss to New Orleans, Green Bay is 3-0 their last 3 games overall, where they're scoring 27.3 points per game. They're scoring 35 points per game in division play so far this season. Some more trends to look at. Green Bay is 6-1 against spread last 7 games after a straight-up win. Green Bay 6-2 against spread last 8 games as a favorite. Chicago's 5-11 against spread last 16 games against a team with a winning record. Chicago's 4-9 against the spread the last 13 games after an ATS win. Chicago's 3-7 against spread last 10 games against the NFC North. The favorite is 4-1 against the spread the last 5 meetings overall in this series. And going way back, Green Bay is 24-6 straight up, 22-8 against the spread the last 30 meetings at Chicago, including 2-0 straight up and against the spread the last 3 years. Green Bay is 20-7 against the spread the last 27 meetings overall in this series. Aaron Rodgers, 20-5 straight up lifetime versus the Bears, where he has 55 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and a nice 107.2 passing rating. Chicago offense is going to be shut down here. Rodgers is going to have another big day, and I believe he'll lead the Packers to the win in this one. So recommending play Green Bay -2 points on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm convinced of that play too, Rocky. That's one that rang well when I first looked at the line Sunday night. Why is it only 4.5? And the Rodgers history there. I mean, I don't know if he bear hunts, but in the off season, but he certainly does in the NFL season. 20-5, you said all time against the Bears, right? Yeah. That's remarkable. I didn't even know that. That's remarkable. So there we have a good show bet for today. And Rocky, sometimes we skip all over the place on this show. Max on record is a regular loyal listener, follower, viewer. And did you do your DraftKings draft for golf? Yeah, I did one lineup instead of 5 or 7 is usually what I do. And I only did one because I didn't like it. My models didn't come up with anything real concrete. But I can tell you who the golfers were quickly. And that at least gives you that. And that's why I didn't present it yesterday, because I usually give a list of anywhere from 15 to 21 golfers, Rocky, and of that list, you can take those to create your 6-man DraftKings lineup. So the thought is that somewhere in that list, there's a combination that is going to hit pay dirt and more than that. So it's gone pretty well with the DraftKings. I've had David Behrman on from ESPN. He won. He was profitable with his picks and his matchup picks, 18 out of 20 events. I mean, it's kind of nuts. And what is crazier is Nick Borman was 9 out of 10. Of Wager Talk. He's Wager Talk's resident PGA expert.
Yeah,
and PGA Pro. So let me see what I had here, guys. So this event is the CJ Cup. That's another reason why I only played the one lineup just to play it. And Oosthuizen I had, he's -1. Fleetwood -2, he's tied for 28th. Jason Kokrak, not good. He's through 14 and he's 5 over. Paul Casey is -4, he's doing well, tied for 7th. Max Homa -4, tied for 7th. And Tringali is +1, tied for, looks like 55th, 65th. Yeah, so I got work to do. The goal is to get all 6 guys through the cut, right? Yeah. But Kokrak really has his work cut out because it's probably going to be even or +1, I think, for the cut line. That shows right there why I chose only to do one. There was no real magical list to present to anybody. But if you want, Rocky, it's interested to see if you have any thoughts about tonight's game. It's a rematch of kind of a Super Bowl when the Eagles did beat the Tom Brady led Patriots back a few years, not many, but a few. So Brady has played the Eagles twice in the Super Bowl, gone 1-1. And I think it's going to be a wild game. I mean, how old is Brady again? Like 30? It's like
44,
whether you like the guy or hate the guy, you gotta respect it. I mean,
exactly. I mean, I don't know if I could get out there at 44, 45 years old and do what he's doing. I mean, he's just been unbelievable. It's hard to bet against him. Tonight, I passed today in all sports, so I didn't really have a feel for this game. Really, if I had to play it, I would lean to the home dog here, but it's not a game that I'm going to put anything on.
Yeah, it's an incredible matchup because you really can make a case that the Eagles' defensive front and their secondary, led by Darius Slay, who, by the way, ranks 3rd in the NFL, the Eagles' passing defense, going up against the number 1 passing offense in the Bucs. But you can also counter that with saying that the Eagles' passing defense has not faced an offense like they're going to see tonight with all those weapons. Right. And I think Darius Slay, I would think he's going to be manned up against Mike Evans, but then that leaves a lot of question marks for the other 2 guys and who's going to defend them. I think if you're playing the fantasy and Tony Mejia is in the house, hey, Tony, we got Rocky. Rocky's joining us here. He's making his premiere.
What's up, Rocky?
Hey, Tony. How you doing, bud?
How are you?
Good. He gave out a good breakdown on the Packers-Bears game. He's on the Packers. And I think we talked a little bit about that yesterday, didn't we? It might have been one of the other videos.
They all run together. But no, I wasn't on yesterday. So
I know Jesse Shaw had a prop bet. Justin Fields throws at least 1 interception. So that would obviously play into it in the Packers' favor. But I know there was another video we recorded earlier this week that someone else was on the Packers, and our show record is 23-5. I mean, that's nuts.
Very good.
That's good.
That's as crazy as the Manny's pub record too. Here now, we went 0-2 yesterday. Which that wasn't good. But we are 80 and 50 officially for 61.5%, 30.7% ROI last 43 shows. So that's, we do 5 shows a week. So that's 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
The U.S. pushed yesterday, so that was my pick made on Tuesday for the show.
Yeah, and I forget what that was overall. I think it was a 3-1 day. Not that you were singling you out.
Right? No, I know you weren't. I wasn't on yesterday. I'm just saying that the pick I gave out Tuesday, I thought the game was Tuesday night. Instead, it was yesterday, and it ended up being the push. Which
that's right. So it was 3-1 and 1.
Yep.
I have to double check that. I want to make sure I didn't credit that as a win. But I can fix that quick enough. So what's new in your world, Mr. Mejia?
Not a ton. I did panel videos with Kelly Stewart and Steve Merrill this morning. And,
I recognize those names.
And who else did my Ratchet play for this week? The Ratchet play is 3-1. So this week's is on Miami and Jacksonville, and that stinker in London. And you'll be able to find that on the Wager Talk feed and my feed a little later. I haven't tweeted it out yet. And then once we wrap up here, I've got the NBA preview show that we're putting together at Wager Talk at either 5 or 5:30. We'll have to see. And so looking forward to talking win totals and MVP, Rookie of the Year, that type of thing, futures, division winners. And I know Andy Lang for sure is on that. I think Rob Bino's going to join us. Joe Rainieri's hosting, so it should be good. And that'll be on Wager Talk's many outlets, YouTube and on Twitter, our Twitter channel, all that within half an hour to an hour. So lots to do. And then just went out to get my my light because one of my ring lights broke. So now I'm fully operational again.
And that's the best news of all.
Yep.
But I do have the Westgate futures for the NBA. If you want to use, I don't want to take anything you're going to use for Wager Talk. But if you have any futures that you wanted to discuss, we could, or we can go on to something else.
Whatever you want to do. I mean, I see those. I have them available. We're going to use those on the show. But
this is
yep, that's them.
Yep, this is from a couple days ago. I mean, obviously, you don't bet the Lakers at 7-2. Actually, I don't have the win totals, but we could look those up.
Yeah, those are pretty.
Because this is
pretty universal in terms of. I didn't see many differences from FanDuel or DraftKings. They were essentially using the same numbers. So, in fact, I have to pull those up. So I'm ready for that. But yeah, I'll be giving out my favorites on that, and then we're actually putting out a $9 special for NBA, same as NHL, which opened this week, where all of the early games will be $9 packages, and ditto with all our futures. So I've actually got a future package up and ready, and then I'll be adding to that up over the next few days. I believe the season starts on Tuesday. So get that all set up and ready to go. But yeah, I mean, you can bet anything you want early, regular season wins, to make the playoff bets, season leaders, player futures, parlay futures, conference and division winners. So they've got a pretty robust menu over at FanDuel and at DraftKings, depending on who you use.
Yeah, I just pulled up DraftKings. I haven't been following the futures bet in the NBA hardly at all. But I got to think like teams like Brooklyn and the Sixers win totals have moved maybe quite a bit since their opening.
I don't know, because the Kyrie Irving news probably steam out of Brooklyn, but Brooklyn is recognized as the favorite to win it all. And that early opener against the Bucs, it's in Milwaukee, but the Nets are actually a 1-point road favorite. So the reigning champs are not getting much respect there, and they're pretty good at home. So that's very interesting. DraftKings has Ben Simmons specials. Did you know that?
I didn't. Oh, no.
They've got Ben Simmons to convert first free throw attempt of the season. Minus 145 on yes, plus $1.25 for no.
Oh, you got to bet yes. It's on the road, right?
That?
Is he on the road? The Sixers, I guess?
What's their opener? Isn't their opening against Boston? I'm not sure, actually.
I think it is, and I think it's there. And I think he has more of a chance of making a free throw on the road than he does in the city of brotherly love, don't you?
Yes, no brotherly love for Ben.
They could be standing up behind the backboard.
It's actually the Pelicans
trying to get him to miss.
they're playing New Orleans in New Orleans to open the season.
And you're getting what for? We got Rob Vino coming in here now too.
You're getting minus 145.
Welcome, Rob.
Yes, so that's pretty ballsy if you want to say yes, considering it's Ben Simmons and free throws, and $1.25 to fade him.
Yeah, I think I would have to take no on that one. I'm a Sixers fan, by the way, and I don't know, how much has he been doing in the off season? You know what I mean? And I don't know.
Welcome to the show, Rob. I apologize for bringing you on right as Tony. It was Tony Mejia's idea to make me informed, and I was not informed that there are Ben Simmons prop bets that he will make or miss his first free throw of the year.
We might spend the next week talking about those, Tone. Thank you.
Hilarious.
No, I promise I won't.
How is everybody today? Good?
Doing well. How about you?
Good, Rob.
Good.
Rob, you know Rocky, right?
I don't think I've ever crossed paths with Rocky, honest to God.
Yeah, that's the first time.
Name recognition, yes. Being on a show or collaborating on anything, this would be the first time, Rocky.
Yep.
Good to be on with you, buddy.
Good to be on with you, too. Much respect.
Yeah, I've known Rocky, how long have I known you? This is the first show we've ever done.
Yeah.
But it's got to be the better part of 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, so that's
not more.
This is good.
Yeah.
And we already did the golf, Rob.
Perfect timing.
I missed that.
I only did one lineup this week because nothing came up with the models and nothing made sense to me. It's the CJ Cup. I guess 5 of my 6 players are doing okay, but Kokrak's 5 over on 14, so that's not good. But maybe I'll get 5 out of 6 through. There's bigger events coming, and those bigger events are months away, but they'll be here soon enough. So we were looking at NBA win totals, and I know you two guys are going to be talking about that coming up, so I don't want to take any fuel from that fire. But Rob, you've been the best Wager Talk handicapper in the NBA now for 2 straight years, I believe. And that is a feat that's only been done in a single sport in back-to-back years, only by 2 or 3 people, to my knowledge. So, I wanted to give you, that kind of a little shout out there. But based on that, I'd be interested to know kind of where you're leaning with the futures, if you wanted to share that before the recording coming up.
Yeah, and I'm really not a big futures player, so I won't play to win the NBA title, especially. I'm not a fan of having your money tied up till next middle of July is kind of ridiculous. And who knows what's going to happen along the way in the NBA. Season win totals, I usually have about 2 or 3. I'll tell you one a team that I'm especially high on this year, and we'll see, because it's becoming a crowded Eastern Conference. It really is. For all the years where the East was, labeled as the stepchild, so to speak, the West was everything, and the East had very little to offer. But the Chicago Bulls just made too many moves in the offseason for me to ignore. You have to stay healthy, and Zach LaVine obviously seemingly gets hurt constantly. But boy, oh boy, Billy Donovan's got a nice crew to work with at this point in time, in the middle, on the perimeter. We'll see about defensively. I mean, the defense on a night-to-night basis in the NBA does become optional at times. But I just feel like that's a team that has an opportunity here to slide right into the playoffs. again, speaking from a distance to when this season is going to end, and if injuries occur to other teams and Chicago were to stay healthy. And again, when you're betting these futures, that's what you're projecting, right? We're betting on paper in the middle of October. Who the heck knows what the end of November would even bring. But I like the Bulls. I like the Bulls quite a bit. They were pesky last year, despite being without a lot of their top players for the majority of the season. So that's one that I really like as far as East goes, that I don't know if it's a popular play amongst other NBA, bettors, but I do like that. I like the Bulls. I think they're going to get over the season win total. And I actually think that they'll make the playoffs in the East. They'll slide into the 7 or 8 slot, and we'll see what happens with the Knicks. I almost feel like the Knicks can't go anywhere but down, guys. It was such a great season last year, and I know we do the NBA Daily Show. It was often where we're just on there, and it becomes mechanical, right? Knicks first half, Knicks over in the first half, and these things just kept cash. But they hit the playoffs, and we saw what happened when Julius Randle was left on an island by himself. Not that he's going to be on an island by himself this year, but when you went through a year wearing a bullseye on your chest, Knicks snuck under the radar of a lot of teams last year. Nobody had the ultimate respect for the Knicks until the end of the year, to tell you the truth. So they're going to start the season that way. So I don't know if the Knicks will be able to climb over their season win total. 2 that I looked at.
Yeah, Knicks are 42.5, so that implies, about 42.5 wins, 39.5 losses, like 3 games over 500, and the Bulls are 5 games over 500. And the way you outlined that Bulls breakdown, it makes it very attractive, I think, to do that.
Yeah, the Bulls were a big off-season winner for sure, on paper at least.
Right. That's all we have to go by too. It's NBA's crazy. That I was looking at a publication that was sitting inside the our Slack channel, and they have listed strength of schedule for every single team. And I'm thinking to myself, strength of schedule is daily in the NBA. It's not seasonal. Sit here in October and tell me what somebody's strength of schedule is for the entire 82-game season, because with injuries, supposed injuries, load management, and everything that goes with the NBA, strength of schedule is on a nightly basis. There's no way you can project. You could say the Lakers are one of the 2 best teams in the Western Conference, but on any night they could be one of the 3 worst if they're sitting everybody. So strength of schedule is kind of meaningless inside the NBA, and it's more of a day-to-day basis. Oh, and there's our good friend Tony Finn. Ready? Hey, before you start, let me ask you this, because I saw our pal, and boy, oh boy, he'll have me on pins and needles tonight as a Dodger fan.
Yeah.
He started already with Corey Knebel as his starting pitcher.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Is it Gabe? Is it Gabe Morrissey, or who are we talking about?
Yeah. We could talk about Gabe. He loves as much as I do.
No. But I've been listening to your the rants and the raves of strength of schedule. If you need to know the strength of schedule, there's one very reliable spot you can go. That would be
your office,
the deep state.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The deep states?
The deep state. The deep state. That class of actors who pretend to be politicians. You can't fall in that hole. You can't even get into that hole unless you're a politician. So just check.
I lost where he went with that. I thought he was talking maybe about Phoenix, the Valley, Valley of the Sun. That's deep, right? The Valley.
Deep state.
Man, I was talking about Dave Roberts, not deep state.
Dave Roberts.
Is he a deep state politician?
I
thought we were segueing into baseball there.
Now I got to find some Toms or something. You said the damn word, Dave Roberts.
Hey, Jansen's looked good though. You have to give Jansen a little bit of a pass here. I mean, he's looked pretty good, right?
I have to check with the deep state on that as well, because there's no way that 95-mile-an-hour ball that does not go right or left 1 millimeter is not crushed every time it approaches the plate. I don't get it. What do I know? You can ask. You can ask the other. You know how you can ask the other New York Met or the other Tony in the room.
Anthony.
I'll be the first Tony. The other Tony in the room. He might be able to tell you what's wrong with Dave Jansen. He's a New York Mets fan.
Is that true?
He's from Queens. He's a Mets.
Is that
I am
true,
from Queens,
Tony?
But I do not like the Mets. I'm a Yankees fan.
No, hold it. Nobody that lives in Queens likes the Yankees. Nobody.
I do. Me.
Well, they should have kicked you out a long time ago.
No. And I like the Yankees win again because I have to.
Yeah, I like the Yankees when I bet on them and they win too.
I'm not a Yankees fan. I was a Yankees fan when we had. We did have Ricky Henderson and Don Mattingly was my kid.
Whitey Ford and Mickey Mantle.
Andy Hawkins and Dave Point were our top starters. We were terrible when I was a kid. So I just love the Yankees over
69. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. If you need to know about the schedule, you go to the 69 Mets. You go check the 69 Mets and Nolan and Tom and that group.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Fall into the deep state hole. How you guys doing today? It's good to see you, and I apologize for my tardiness. I looked at the clock and I said, "Holy crap!"
Obviously, your therapy session ran over.
Well, if I'm in therapy, the session has no ending. There is no ending, no time limit on that therapy.
Take hold of your show, John. Take control of your show, John.
I'm doing it right now. I almost muted him. He was interrupting Tony Mejia. He didn't even give an answer on Jensen's spin rate.
Okay. Yeah.
What is the deal with the Corey Knievel opener? Is anybody? Because I just came. I went, like I said, to get my ring light, so I'm good to go for tonight. So I was out running errands, and then I see I got no played on my 4% play because I had Urias and the Webb must start. So now I'm actually putting action in.
I hate it when we get a Latino on the show and they actually pronounce the names correctly. I really bother. I never say it that way.
Like Pereira, the golfer.
Pereira.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. I can't do that.
The feeling, Tone, is that it was done to mess with the platoon system of the Giants. Knievel maybe a couple of innings, then they have to change hitters because they're going to come with Julio Urias. Third or fourth inning, whatever.
Hear that? That's how you
the risk you take is that Knievel gets lit up for 3 in the first, and Logan Webb goes on to win the game. So
is that a risk?
We'll see how it goes.
He's a 20-game winner. I mean, his whip was in the postseason was less than 1, same as Webb. Hopefully Dave Roberts not outthinking himself. That's interesting.
Well, that's why we have Tony Finn on, but he chose to talk about the deep state instead. The problem is this morning if the
Tony
CFB Kool-Aid is wearing off, or what the hell's going on over there?
I just got this call. So it's a long story. We don't have time for it.
That's right. We don't have time for it. I don't know. We'll see how that works out.
What is the thinking behind it? I mean, what?
That's exactly what it is, to see if he can disrupt their lineup for sure. But again, you run that risk. I don't know if it's worth the reward in the end.
In Game 5?
Yeah.
Definitely risky.
I mean, it's possible that he even uses Scherzer at the end of this game.
Would any of this surprise you? If Dave Roberts is making calls, would anything surprise you?
Man, now finally, 5 minutes after I tried to draw a reaction out of you, I finally got one. Thank you.
Nothing.
It doesn't surprise us.
Maybe it was Jensen's idea.
Listen, there's 2 people sleeping on each side of Dave Roberts at night. We know one of them's Jansen, and we know the other one. Who is he?
I don't know.
Cody Bellinger. Nobody is still in anyone's lineup, a championship lineup that's hitting 50 against the pitcher. 50 and 150 for the season. The F. Come on.
Well, maybe
I digress.
Maybe there was some pillow talk there, Tony, with Jensen saying, I just not comfortable in that closer position. Can you start the guy, and then maybe Reyes can go the whole distance?
I don't know. I know this. If I'm in bed and there's somebody sleeping on each side of me, it's not going to be Jansen. It's not going to be Bellinger, and none of those 2 are allowed to talk. There's other things they need to be doing.
And real quick, guys, from a managerial position, Julio Urias has come out of the bullpen in the playoffs before, so it's not foreign to him. Sometimes you worry about messing up a starter's
like Wheeler.
Yeah, you just don't
Yep.
want to mess up their routine. But Arias was on the hill last year when they closed out the World Series. So he's used to being in the bullpen, throwing 15 and then coming into the game. So maybe that goes into it too. You know, another starter you might not do this with. I don't think you do it with Scherzer because Scherzer might punch in the side of the head. But we'll see if it works. I mean, it's another added piece to the puzzle here. And like Tony said, I saw a few guys, Wager Talk guys, have plays on this game and probably have to do exactly what Tony's doing, go backtrack and punch in action now because listed pitchers are out the window.
No,
I actually didn't put the play out. I had the Dodgers and I saw the change. I didn't even put it out.
I didn't either. I didn't put it out because I thought the number, when I saw it last night, I just thought the number was wrong. And I'll wait. We got plenty more baseball. We got the other Tony. We'll just go ask him and the Tom Seaver, Nolan Ryan, that group.
Beginning of the show,
Queens, guys.
I did put a strategy out there because of this in-game live bet idea that if San Fran gets up 2-3-0 in the first, second, or third inning, that then you bet the Dodgers in-game if you like the Dodgers pre-flop. That's my thinking, and that's exactly why I took it down. I actually want the Giants to get the lead, and then I'll pop in for probably 2% and then see how it goes.
A lot of ways to go about it. They couldn't touch this kid the first time around.
We're talking about Knievel?
Yeah,
I'm talking about Logan Webb.
Oh, Webb, yeah. Well, Knievel too is maybe the only guy that can throw a pitch that looks like a left-hander slider. That screw motion of his is just he's nasty as could be. When you were talking about possibly him imploding to some degree or blowing up, with him, I'm more concerned with him not being able to them sitting back and just taking a bunch of pitches and him not being able to command that movement that he has. It's greasy, dirty, nasty stuff, and I would probably pay Eddie to go bat for me if I had to face Knievel.
Eddie the midget.
Yes, that's him. That's the short, little
Eddie Goodell,
little person.
it was 3'11" or something, 4'1".
I don't know, but that's a hell of a strike zone. Dave Roberts couldn't find anyone to throw that strike zone, but he'll tell you he could. Let's get off.
How nasty?
What do you bring up Dave Roberts and Dave Jansen for? What are you doing that for me for?
How nasty is Doval for San Francisco? Dear Lord.
Yeah.
100 miles an hour with a tail. Yikes.
Yeah, much nastier than the 104 miles an hour. How does a guy explain this to me? You don't have to now, but how does a pitcher throw 104 and not have as many swings and misses as a guy who pitches 90, throws 90?
Movement.
That's my
location.
Point. That's my point. Yeah, is that there's one guy in the Dodgers bullpen that when he gets in there, I get concerned if I happen to have been on Quaaludes and backed the damn Dodgers that night.
Let's get to show best bets. Rocky gave out the Packers. Real good breakdown there. -4.5 against the Bears at Soldier Field.
Yeah.
And I just did my in-game, but I'll think of a couple prop bets here too after we get through a couple here. Among F and Tony, Rob Vino, and Tony Mejia, who wants to go first with a final bet?
The other, Anthony.
Let me go first because my game starts in 10 minutes.
Hey, what?
The game I'm going to give out starts in 10 minutes. So if people are watching, you can get on it now.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm giving it out is because it's part of my 2 soccer game package. So Tony Finn's all ears on this. and it's not my 4%. So my 4% is big time. I've been knocking out 4%. You can look at my package on wagertalkwt.buzz/TM if you want to see it. But this one, it starts at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, and which means we're about 10 minutes out. It's Ecuador at Colombia. My mom's from Ecuador. My dad's Colombian, so this will be a fun one. Ecuador just stinks on the road, though. They come off a brutal loss in Venezuela. Venezuela is like the I don't know, what would it be? The worst team in baseball this past year, I guess the Rangers. So Venezuela is the Rangers of the CONMEBOL, of the 10 teams in South America that play round robin, and Ecuador lost to them in Caracas, and they dropped their last 3 road games in World Cup qualifiers.
Wow.
So this is in Colombia. Colombia has actually gotten 2 draws that were really good, solid road results at Uruguay and at Brazil. So they need all these 3 points, and they'll be sitting pretty in the top 4, which are the automatic qualification spots in South America. They're already turned the corner on the round robin. This is, I believe, match day 11. So they play each other twice, home and away, 18 total games. And Colombia wins this game. Money line, bet it, 3-way money line. That means you lose if there's a draw, and you lose if Ecuador wins. But it's about $1.50, so it's heavily juiced. But it's better than laying the goal and pushing if it's a 1-0 or 2-1 game. So give me the 3-way money line, Colombia over Ecuador.
Got you written down.
Can you repeat that, please?
Colombia over Ecuador.
Quickly, I'll make this quick. Do you guys? And I want to do something with your permission, of course. I'm going to do something that it's kind of against the rules. Shouldn't do. There's a game that goes tonight, a campus event, and the 2 teams involved are. I'm going to look at the latest number here. I'm going to pull it up real quick. 113-114 is Navy and Memphis. Okay, this is a game that I looked at. By the time I looked at it, but by the time I recovered from the weekend and got to this game, the number had risen a little bit. But has anyone noticed the recent scheme? What Memphis has done with their freshman signal caller, and what he's kind of morphed into? Some of it has to do with their opponents and the schemes that they operate on the stop side of the ball in the defense. But in this game, we got a quarterback who threw the ball 97. He's thrown the ball almost 100 times the last 2 games.
Yep.
In this first, I think it was in this first
True freshman.
First 4 weeks, he threw the ball a total of 118 times. And now, what you have is, I like the total. I would say, I think you need to watch Memphis and this kid. I'm going to go ahead and recommend tonight, despite the fact that we got a Navy team that's not very good offensively. Might I say that I think they average about 2.4 or something like that, or 0.24 points per play. Whatever the case may be, it's not very much. They surprisingly give up almost 4.5 or so. Navy does, which surprised me. It shouldn't, because of the pace they also operate under. But long story short, the Tigers are going to be playing UCF, SMU, ECU in the coming weeks, guys, and so obviously we're going to have more plays opposite Memphis, and combined, I think they'll probably generate enough plays that even if they're both not the most efficient that night, that you're still going to have a chance to go north of the closing number. Okay, but I like tonight. Again, I like Memphis and Navy over. And I see the total right now. What do you guys see? I see 55.5, 56 right in there. And I really thought when I looked at this on last Friday or Saturday of last week before they played and before the numbers came out, before the overnights came out on Sunday, that I was going to get like 50. And when I saw that 55, I said I'm not going to release it, but I'll play it. And I did. I it was a little degenerate moment there, and I reached in and I put some I didn't put any. I don't. I'm not like John. I don't have the discipline to put just pizza money on something. I put some porterhouse money on it. So root for me. Over 55. Navy, Memphis tonight. Friday night football. Friday night after dark. Not Pac-12 ball. Not Pac-12 after dark, which is exciting stuff, right? Yeah. Shit. No. Navy, and Memphis over 55. So we have Pele tonight in a proposition over 2 goals. I got Pele over 2 goals with Tony. What's Rocky got tonight? What's he tells you? Have you done a free play yet? Has he given it out? Has he sold it? Give you the 900 number yet? You can call him and get that free play.
Oh yeah.
Rocky did the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. You just said okay. Very good. Okay. And what are you on, John? What's pizza money?
I was waiting for Rob Vino to go.
Okay, Rob. What's Rob on?
I could choose here, but guys, I'll go to Saturday. There's one play. I have one play up and available at Wager Talk for tonight. Comes from the Thursday night NFL game, but I'll go to Saturday. Oklahoma State at Texas. There's a lot of letdown or so-called letdown spots on the college football card this week. This may be one of the biggest for the Texas Longhorns. Absolutely caved in at the end of that game. OU's backup quarterback, 21-point comeback. And Texas did everything right for 3+ quarters and then did everything wrong to lose that football game defensively. It's just not a good defense, period. Steve Sarkisian's great as a play caller. Bijan Robinson is a great tailback. Casey Thompson is a point-scoring leader at quarterback. But they're going to run into Oklahoma State this week, and I think Oklahoma State flies under the radar here quite a bit. You know, Mike Gundy, back in Big 12 media days, he's one of the more honest coaches there is out there. You don't really have to sift through the coach speak that he throws out there. He's just going to directly tell you what he thinks about his team in most instances. And, you know, he lied to us on one count, or I shouldn't say lied. He just obviously didn't hit it out of the park with one prediction, and he did with the other. The one he hit it out of the park with was he said it's his best defense during his tenure. The fastest, the most physical, the best tackling, and Oklahoma State has proven it every step of the way so far this season. Where he was wrong was he said in spring practice, Spencer Sanders made a tremendous leap in quarterback play, as good as any he's seen since he's been there. And Spencer Sanders is the same Spencer Sanders we've seen the last couple of years. I got an OSU buddy of mine who calls him the squirrel because he seemingly is always ducking and hiding and leaving teams in the game. This team has gone through a major offensive transformation. It's almost unrecognizable as a Mike Gundy offense, right? Nowadays, the play calling numbers to this point in the season for OSU, 63% run, 62.8 if you want to be precise, and 37% pass. It's just unlike, but he doesn't trust his quarterback whatsoever. So they run the football and they play defense, very un-Big 12-like. But they've gone to Boise and played real good defense. They held, who did they beat 24-14? Now, without staring at my notes, I'm forgetting who they held to 14 points. Was it Baylor? Yeah, Baylor's scored 90 points in the last 3 weeks. OSU only allowed 14 in that particular game. Everybody seemingly is on a Baylor bandwagon this week, too. I won't get into that. But to me, Texas defense, if you have a team that can run the football and you have the team with the better defense and you're getting points and the team that can run the football is running against a team that can't stop the run, Kennedy Brooks and company just ran for over 300 yards against this team. So Texas is nowhere to be found defensively in that front seven. I think taking points here is well worth it with Oklahoma State. While everybody talks about Oklahoma, rightfully so, at 6-0, and with that Alabama loss last week, there's now a path that's created for Oklahoma to find their way into the college football Final Four. Now, they have to navigate that path, and they probably will screw it up, but it's there. It's available to them. But OSU is in a pretty good position to get to the Big 12 championship game as well, and this is a hurdle that if Texas comes in not 100% focused, which I don't know that they will be, because I don't know how you can get over that blown loss last week real easily. OSU is liable to hit them right off the bat, and with the defense that they have, they might not be able to recover. So Texas is home, yes. Texas shows us great offense, yes. But the target's going to be on Bijan Robinson for the Oklahoma State defense. And I have a defense that's held up pretty well against the run. So, again, for all the reasons I just described without repeating myself 100 times, I think Oklahoma State plus the 5.5. And there's a potential play here on under, guys, because Oklahoma State has slowed every single game down. I mean, that Boise game was 21-20 at halftime, and it ended 21-20. OSU just slows it down to a grind. Baylor was 24-14, as I said before. They're not playing a heck of a lot of overs. Give Gundy credit. I mean, we talk about coaches a lot of times that try to jam their philosophy into their personnel, and he's done the exact opposite this year. He's ridden with the personnel and developed a philosophy around it, and all of a sudden OSU is just a different team, not one that you would find in the Big 12, normally more like one you would find in the Big 10. But I like him this week, so I'll take points with OSU.
Awesome.
There he is. There he is.
Plus over Texas.
You have to trust Oklahoma State to score. So I like your underplay. I like your underplay.
Huh? Yeah, that's the other option here, Tony.
Yeah.
And it's come down a little bit, right? I think it opened 50, chopped down to 49.5.
OSU's been very, very good to me this year. 2 plays, 2 wins. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you could recognize what he was doing right off the bat, you've made some money here. That's
I think they threw the ball 17 times. In one of the non-con games. And when that happened, I said either Gundy had a heart attack on the sideline or something's changed there. And that's when you knew.
You don't trust his quarterback. That's what's changed.
Well,
and not having Tylan Wallace. The running back situation, guys
the kid, the transfer from Utah State is done. Look what he did in that full game. What was it, in Boise? Put up 200 on the ground. Got some talent, but I also, listen. I like that. I like what you had to say. I like the under there. I want to desperately trust Texas more than you do at this point. And I will give you one answer. When they went to Arkansas, it was embarrassing. They were a road that Arkansas
crushed.
I mean, the final score wasn't indicative of that game, and so. When I did the same thought process you did, I said, who did they follow? Arkansas. Oh, yeah, it was Rice. 58-0. Now, Rice obviously isn't Oklahoma State.
Right.
But that answer, I mean, even a blind owl finds a tree limb every once in a while.
It's funny because
owl.
As good of a play caller as Sarkisian is, Gundy was at the forefront of all this spread, 4 wides.
Of course he was.
That gets up tempo and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know that stuff tricks him. I really don't. This DC Jim Knowles has been really good for Oklahoma State.
No, I agree. Listen, I like Gundy. I like Gundy.
We'll see.
Other than me being a sophisticated 4-letter word city boy. He's a little bit country for me, but I like him. He's a good coach.
Doesn't come from the Ozarks, at least, right, Tom?
Damn. Well, we'd have to get him help.
Hey, that Netflix series is starting up again soon, I hear.
Yeah. When does that happen?
Like November, I think. Right.
Oh,
as soon as somebody's killed in the Ozarks, they found them floating on the lake, or an opiate field got burnt down. And then we got drama. We got a series on it.
Well, those riverboat casinos don't make you feel like you'd be safe in it. At least at the Ozark Netflix presentation of it.
Yeah, that's the old days. Back in the old days in Kansas City, in that area, when they legalized, gaming, and they didn't have any reservations close enough to Kansas City, so they said, okay, we'll put it in international waters, right? We'll get a riverboat, and nobody can gamble unless it's on the river. That lasted about 2 months, and then they started building the big buildings, and here we are.
The genius that we are.
Yes.
So my prop bets.
The deep state.
Tonight's football game. I got a lot of them here. I like over 25.5 completions. Jalen Hurts minus 105. I like over 26.5 completions. Thomas Brady plus 100. I like longest pass completion by Hurts, 37.5. I don't like laying the minus 120, but I will for pizza money. And over Brady, 39.5 yards, minus 110. So I guess you have a feeling for what I think of the
that
total.
rushing yards, that 39.5, that rushing yards.
Longest passing completion. And my last one is I was wondering this Knievel guy is pitching tonight. Is he related to Evil Knievel?
No, Evil Knievel was no, he was sterile. Too many wrecks, too many jolts there.
Yeah, he's the guy that broke every bone in his body twice, right?
Yeah.
Remember when he launched himself across the Snake River in Idaho?
I remember him launching himself across the Caesar's Palace fountain, but I don't.
27
Well, that was nothing but and just a hair short.
That canyon jump. I mean, come on, really?
Well, it was a motorcycle rocket ship.
Throw a couple Black Cat turbos on your bike and jump a canyon. It lost.
Well, since they're not related, then I'm going to take over 1.5 strikeouts, and I realize that he might only pitch 1 inning. We actually don't know if he's going to go 2, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But
Well, if he's good, John, you have to assume he'll go till his spot in the lineup comes up. Now, if 9 gets to, if 9 gets to hit in the second inning, maybe he only goes 1. That means the Dodgers have a bunch of runs already. But
Yeah.
I would think he'll let him go a couple if he's any good.
that's tremendous.
Who did you guys think? Who did you think was going to take the mound in the first inning tonight? Did you think it was going to be gone?
All indications were Arias.
That's what I thought too.
Is who we all thought, but
Arias has had. He's been, for a kid that's young, and the one team he's been successful. He was very successful, really, against San Francisco. He was in game 2, right? Or the game 1?
20
game
wins
1, right?
too. I mean, it is
20 wins. Yeah. There's a guy that they kept asking me. Said, "Well, because I didn't have him in my conversation for side." I said, "Well."
All right, so I'm getting 1.5 Ks
You're getting it.
with Evil Knievel, and I'm getting paid plus 160.
That's pretty good.
And I love what Rob said, because if he goes 2 innings, that could mean that the Dodgers have the lead. And if the Dodgers have the lead after the first inning, they probably go right to the next guy. That makes total sense to me as a manager. Probably doesn't make sense to that LA guy, but
he's got a bullpen full of them. But
it makes sense to Dave Roberts. That's the question.
Like 3-0, that kid's going 1 inning.
The thing is,
I got to think.
What are you going to do then?
Go right to Urias.
Why not?
Wouldn't that be the plan?
Why not just start Urias then?
Because you don't know you're going to be up 3-0.
Because he wouldn't pull him, Tone. I feel like his whole idea here is start a righty,
Right.
let them set their right-handed lineup.
Yeah. See, I'm not,
bring in the lefty, let him pull.
You guys are really giving Dave an awful lot of credit.
Well,
actually,
what
think about
else
what
can
you're
you
going to do.
I don't like the idea. That's why I'm not betting the Dodgers. I don't like it at all.
You may be spot on. And I would consider asking the other Tony, the Mets fan, but he's off in some other land watching soccer or something. You look at him.
Rocky, help us out. Why would Dave Roberts do this?
Rocky knows baseball too.
Yeah, that's why we're asking.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess what you guys are saying makes sense. If it was me, I think I would go with the lefty. I mean, I would have to go with Urias. I mean, and ride him, as far as I could. But maybe Knievel will do something. I don't know.
Yeah, again, and he said, you know what? A quote from him last night was, "I've got time to sleep on this." He didn't really name a starting pitcher. The assumption was Arias.
Who was he sleeping on? Which player?
We don't know, Tone. When you think it out, if you try to be the manager and you think it out, and the Giants are a platoon team, and he wants to get rid of that platoon in 2 innings, he wants to demolish it, then this is the way to go. I mean, you could start Urias and say, then bring in a righty, then they've got to change again. But the Dodgers bullpen is full of righties. There's no going back after that. Joe Kelly's a righty. Kenley Jansen's a righty. Blake Trinan's a righty. Everybody's a righty except for Vesia, right? The only left-hander coming out of that pen. So, I don't know. Maybe doing it this way is the right way. But again,
is Kershaw? Could they use Kershaw?
No.
No. Well, they
The
could.
only thing-
I mean, is he on the roster? He is, isn't he?
I didn't think he was.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I don't think he
Okay.
was for this, but I think he might be able to go the next one.
Well,
if
they can. All they do is pick him. But I thought that. See, originally I thought he was going to be. He was considered. I'd heard that it was a possibility he was going to be in the rotation. That's and when he wasn't, that's when they decided. That's when they got a break. In truth.
Well, he would be the ideal guy to bring in second tonight.
Well,
Yeah, I
change
think
of
they
speeds.
interviewed him.
yeah.
They-
Just for an inning.
Change of
Yeah.
speeds would be dramatic between Knievel and him, and then
I mean, they didn't want to. They got a break on that rainout.
that would be something.
They got a
That would
break
be-
because Scherzer. If you look at Scherzer's splits, you'll see that the difference in him on regular rest being routine. Scherzer's a routine guy. On short rest, he's never, ever been very good. I mean, but it's all relative. Obviously, bad Scherzer is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
So
he's battled through it though,
Yeah.
like nobody else can. He just
well,
refuses
it's
to
'cause he's
lose.
Scherzer. It's because he's Mad Max. That's because
Yep.
if you talk to him in the dugout, you see the dentist. I like him.
He threw tremendous the other night in that game where I don't know if San Francisco brought that wind with them from San Francisco because I've never seen wind like that in Los
Not
Angeles
there.
before.
Well, you
Not in
live
the
here.
ravine.
You live here. We get the worst wind. The worst. I got some plants. I got some stuff out front. Some trees. Trees blew over the other day. Shit.
Of course, we've seen wind. They have windy season in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Watch people get blown
Yeah.
off bikes.
Monday,
riding down the
Tuesday,
road.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday seasons. Those are the
But
damn
it's not
seasons.
Los Angeles. Los Angeles doesn't have that
No,
wind
I know. No, I know.
unless there's a
Is it-
forest fire.
There's trees in Vegas. I didn't know they could grow in the desert.
Yeah, they have those
Trees.
olive trees.
Oh, the olive trees. That's right. Yeah,
I got damn oak.
a lot of snakes too, right?
No snakes.
Lizards.
Well, there are a lot of snakes. They're not reptiles. They're snakes in human
casinos.
form.
Well, guys, I know you have basketball show to get to, so we'll.
Yeah.
I think we'll
Yeah.
end it here. I do tomorrow, if you guys are available. I'll put this on your radar. I wanted to talk about the Alabama-Mississippi State game because that seems to be polarizing because they're coming off a loss. Saban isn't automatic coming off a loss either historically, but I wanted to see what you guys thought of that matchup and if it's possible that Alabama, for example, could lose 2 in a row. Is it an overplay or underplay?
I'll bet against it. I'll bet
I don't know,
against it.
Anybody here that would want to be a player for Nick Saban this week at practice?
Especially on
I think I
defense.
would want to be. Yeah, you don't
And-
want to be that
and
guy.
that's a hint to where my theme is going with this. But any other games you guys want to talk about, just send them over in the Slack, and I'll put them on the menu.
Tomorrow?
So
What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday?
yeah,
All right.
Tomorrow's the day we drink on this show.
Well,
Yes.
no, that's the day
Las
I
Vegas
drink every
Chris
day.
might come
I
on.
drink every day on the show. I add
Game time
other
decision
drugs
tomorrow. We
on
shall
Friday.
Everything in moderation, excessively.
Everything in moderation.
Everything.
Excessively.
That's his
Good
epitaph.
way to- good way to
Anyway,
live.
you guys have fun on that Wager Talk NBA preview show, and everybody that's listening to this.
No one invited me to that show. They hate me. They all hate
No,
me.
I think that show is limited to Tony and Andy Lang.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, Tony who? Tony, the other Tony? He just got here yesterday.
Yeah. Now I talked with Joe last week, but I think this show is about props, and Andy is so good at props.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
a
he
bunch
is.
of-
He makes his living on NBA props. And,
Okay, well then, Tony, break leg. Hell, break 2 legs. Go get
All
him,
right, I'll break them both.
buddy.
break them both, Tone.
Rocky, good to see you. Johnny
Good to see you,
Eller, you know my bank account number. Send the stuff. Rob, why the hell didn't
Yes,
we
sir.
why didn't we do football? They kicked me off the fucking football previews too this week.
Yeah, me and Tony did that.
Yeah,
Tuesday
what
night
was
panel.
Tony? That motherfucker Tony? That one?
Man.
The hell is going on?
Maybe it's
My
just like
check
load
gonna be
management.
nothing. I get nothing, huh?
Load management for you.
That's the
Really?
message I saw, that Tony
I got-
Finn
I
needed
got-
load management.
I got a
rest
load
time.
management for somebody who's willing to get down there. A load man.
They haven't invited me back for the NBA angle of the day either yet.
Well, it hasn't started.
Well, that hasn't started yet.
Well,
I
that's
think
true.
That show, because I talked to Joe, will be on that show Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday's only a 2-game slate, but we're going to go over a lot of stuff Tuesday, and then Wednesday is a full NBA slate. So
See you guys.
I think Ski and I will be there then.
Right.
What I'm gonna suggest is
he
that
just got here 2 days ago. I quit.
is to avoid confusion with my NBA betting angles, which caused confusion last year. I thought I would videotape it into a video file, and then Mr. Ranieri could just play my video, and I could make sure there's no confusion on what the hell the system is telling you to do.
We'll have a good laugh.
Because
Rocky, welcome to this zoo called the Sports Show.
Steve Merrill wouldn't have to be on the show then, because Steve Merrill and Rob were the only two that could actually interpret a simple sentence.
Steve caught a knife.
Play on road dogs. What does that mean?
Not by his hand. Not with his hand.
I depend
Good
on
day.
Steve to explain your angles to me. I totally rely on him because I look at those things as if they're a 3-headed human being. I can't make heads or tails. And Merrill breaks it down. And
You remember the show My Favorite Martian? The guy. You remember
yes,
the show?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
That's
yes.
Steve Merrill. He's the damn Martian. You need.
Hey guys, for effing Tony, Rob Vito, Tony Mejia, Rocky Atkinson making his debut today. Great to have you. And myself, Wager Talk, Sports Memo, Predictive Playbook. May all the wins be yours. Have a good night, guys.